Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar. We'll wait for 1 more minute and then we'll be starting. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar. I hope everybody is doing well. People who are in Bombay, I hope that you are in office or at your home, safe and sound and dry. It's raining quite a lot in Mumbai. Uh, in this uh, in this session, we'll be talking about a new NFO which we are coming out with, and it's Mirae Asset Nifty200 Alpha 30 ETF fund of fund. So this is a fund of fund offering which will invest in our already existing ETF, which is Mirae Asset Nifty 200 Alpha 30 ETF. So this is a fund of fund route, a normal mutual fund route through which people can do SIP, STP, do lump sum investment in a normal mutual fund manner. They don't need to go on exchange to buy and sell ETF. They do not need to have a demat or a trading account. The reason why we are introducing this fund is because we have seen a very significant demand for our Alpha 30 ETF. That fund has done really well. We launched it in October last year, and since October, it has given around 67% return since the inception, and this is one of the truest, or rather true to the label approach, which is there on alpha slash momentum investing. And due to significant demand, we are coming out with a fund of fund so that people who do not have a demat account, who do not want to buy or sell ETF, can have a normal mutual fund route to invest in this portfolio, in this strategy. The NFO starts today on 8th of July. It will close on 22nd of July. The scheme will reopen for investment from 29th of July. So I'll just go through some of the initial slides very quickly, because a lot of people already understand smart beta investment, but still I'll just give you a brief gist. See, since very start, the passive investing was about investing in a market cap based fund. If I give you India context, then it was about investing in Nifty 50 ETF or index fund, in mid cap ETF or index fund. Idea was to invest in a large cap, in a mid cap, and get a segment exposure or a sector exposure, for example, by investing in a banking ETF, etc. Now, globally, the thought evolved. Globally, लोगों को लगा कि indexing can be much more than that, right? इसको आप अलग वे में compare it with algos or quant, right? जहाँ पे you can target a certain behavior or target a certain strategy based on certain well-defined rules which have worked wonderfully in history. And that is where smart beta investment cropped up. The idea was to target factors, behavior, strategies which have worked well on the active side, and usko in a very rule based manner to implement it on the passive side. So I think all of you sorts of know about factors like quality. It's a factor which has been talked about a lot. We all know about value is doing very well recently. We know about low volatility, which is about investing in more stable stocks, less risky. And then we have alpha and momentum strategy, which is about investing in stocks and sectors which are performing better from a stock performance point of view. So it is about identifying market trends. It is about identifying stocks. It is about identifying sectors which are generating alpha, which are outperforming the market. So it's a high risk, high reward strategy. So smart beta factor investing is all about key instead of simply investing in a market cap based portfolio, try to create a quant mechanism, a strategy mechanism in a very rule based manner where you are able to target a strategy. So in alpha, that strategy is to invest in stocks which are delivering alpha, which are outperforming the market. Forget about everything else, forget about valuations. It is all about just targeting the returns. Now all these factors work in a different time, right? And काफी intuitive है ये. There's no rocket science to it, right? Low volatility based products work जब market is in bear market. That is one when stability matters more, right? Quality also works better when markets are in turmoil, or markets are moving sideways, or from a long term point of view, that is when quality companies does well. Value does well in a recovering market, and alpha and momentum typically does well in a bull market, right? So based on this thought process, NSE has come out with Nifty 200 Alpha 30 index. The idea was to approach alpha investing, also known as momentum investing. So I'll be using these terms interchangeably, and target these alpha and momentum strategy in a truest manner possible. So what they did was that out of Nifty 200, which is 100 large cap and 100 mid cap stocks, they created an index which will consist of 30 stocks selected on the basis of their outperformance. By how much are these stocks outperforming the market index, which is Nifty 50 in that case, in last 1 year. So stocks which are doing well, stocks which are outperforming the market is shortlisted or selected to become part of the portfolio. Now to calculate this outperformance, they use a matrix called Jensen's Alpha. And I'll try to keep it simple, but a lot of people must already know about CAPM model, which is capital asset pricing model. What it does is that it typically looks at historical behavior of a stock, its correlation with the market, and जो भी market ने return दिए हैं based on that correlation, based on that association, based on historical observations, it tries to predict कि अगर market ने इतना return दिया है तो stock को कितना return देना चाहिए. सो लेट्स से अगर मार्केट ने 10% रिटर्न दिया है तो बेस्ड ऑन हिस्टोरिकल डेटा क्या पता स्टॉक को 12% रिटर्न देने चाहिए थे. बट इफ स्टॉक्स गिव्स यू मोर देन दिस थ्योरेटिकल रिटर्न्स, व्हिच इज 12 इन माय एग्जांपल, दैट इज अल्फा. तो जो स्टॉक ये अल्फा जनरेट कर रहे हैं, जो आउट परफॉर्मेंस जनरेट कर रहे हैं पिछले एक साल में in large and mid cap space, those stocks are selected to become part of the portfolio, right? So it's purely whatever is doing well is shortlisted and selected. And very importantly, the weight of stocks in the portfolio is also based on stock की outperformance. Now I'll compare this product against momentum also, because a lot of people I have invested in Nifty 200 Momentum 30. I think Alpha 30 is a better product, is a superior product than Momentum 30. Because first, in this product, the selection is based on outperformance, but allocation is also based on outperformance. कहीं पे भी बायसनेस नहीं आती है बेस्ड ऑन मार्केट कैप, जो कि मोमेंटम 30 इंडेक्स में आती है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन अल्फा 30, इफ ICICI Bank is getting selected and a PNB Bank is getting selected, and PNB Bank has performed better, in Alpha 30 Bank will have higher allocation, whereas in momentum ICICI Bank will have higher allocation, which we feel is wrong, which we feel that in alpha investing, momentum investing, you should not be biased towards any sector, you should not be biased towards large or mid cap space. जो अच्छा कर रहा है, you should be invested in that segment, either on the sectoral side or on the market segment side. So in this fund, if large cap is doing well, it will be tilted towards large cap. If mid cap is doing well, it will be tilted towards mid cap. If capital goods is doing well, it will have more representation of capital goods. If IT sector is doing well, it will have more representation towards IT sector. And मैं इसके बारे में I'll show you the data. Also, one very important thing which distinguish this product from other products is that this product is rebalanced on a quarterly basis. आपके बहुत सारे जितने भी मोमेंटम बेस्ड प्रोडक्ट्स हैं या बहुत सारे इंडिसेस हैं, दे आर रिव्यूड ऑन अ 6 मंथली बेसिस, बट वहां पे काफी टाइम लैग रहता है. इट्स 6 मंथ इज वी फील टू इनफ्रीक्वेंट. बट अगर आप इफ यू वांट टू कैप्चर मार्केट ट्रेंड, इफ यू वांट टू कैप्चर परफॉर्मिंग स्टॉक्स, इफ यू वांट टू कैप्चर सेक्टर्स व्हिच आर डूइंग वेल, it is better to review it more frequently, and that is what is done here. The index is reviewed on a quarterly basis, and which is why we feel that this is true to the label approach to do alpha or momentum investing. And just look at the performance. We know India has been in a bull market post COVID, so that is why numbers look really good. But also look at a long term number, and मैं यहाँ पे rolling return, calendar year return सबकी बात बताऊंगा, because see, we are lucky to be born in a time and in a country which is doing well and is expected to do well. We are in a very sweet spot when we are talking about India's history. Markets अच्छा कर रहे हैं, but अभी there's lot of room to grow from a long-term point of view. Hiccups आएंगे, there will be corrections, but if I ask you, in next 10 years, will you have more positive returns in calendar years, in next 10 calendar years, or more negative returns? I think we have to believe that there will be more positive observations than negative observations. There will be more bull markets, bull runs, better performing calendar years than bad performing calendar years. And that is where I think short term में work करे ना करे, long term में आपकी alpha investing, momentum investing, we believe is expected to do well. In last year, this product has given 79.4% return. This is May ending data. 79, almost 80% return. In last 3 years and 5 years, 32% and 28% return. And in last 10 years, 25% return. It has consistently outperformed Nifty 50, mid cap by a long margin. Mid cap, which is obviously blue-eyed boy of lot of investors right now. आप 3 साल का रिटर्न देखिए, it has outperformed mid cap by almost 5.5% CAGR. In last 1 year, it has outperformed mid cap by almost 35%. People who are already investing in products like momentum, just look at 1 year performance, 3 year performance, 2 year performance. This product has done better in this bull market, and I think the reason is that it remains true to the label जैसा मैंने mention किया. तो long term performance of Alpha 30 is good. एंड ये प्रोडक्ट लाइव है मार्केट में, जैसा मैंने मेंशन किया, ETF was launched in October and has given 67.6% return since its launch, and this strategy has outperformed all the comparable indices and the momentum indices also in comparable universe. Now, yeah. Now, even if you look from a SIP point of view, see, in this current valuation, a lot of people may not invest in a lump sum manner, but from an SIP point of view also, you look at 10-year return, 10-year SIP would have given you 27% return. A 5-year SIP has given you 37.4% return. An SIP giving you 37.4% return is a very good number, and that is what Alpha 30 index has given. Now, from a portfolio point of view, as I mentioned, that I think this is better slide, that just see how the sector representation changes. In 2018, there was zero capital good. Right now, it is the highest allocation. In IT, which is, if you look at this sixth row from top, it was the highest allocation in 2018. It was zero in 2022, zero, and right now also it is one of the lowest. FMCG, it was one of the highest in 2018. It is zero in 2023, 2024. So that is how quickly the portfolio evolves. Whatever is doing well will be captured in the portfolio, and that is why we are seeing that even in bear market, जब market अच्छा नहीं कर रहा है, at times alpha has given better returns, because अगर आपने ऐसे stocks capture कर लिए which are correcting less, you'll be able to outperform the market even in bad times. And see the segment wise shift also. The top one is Alpha 30. Right now, it has almost 62% mid cap, large cap representation, around 38% mid cap. December ending, which is just 6 months back, it was around 60% mid cap and 40% large cap. So from December to May, 40% large cap has become a 61% large cap. A 57% mid cap has become a 38% mid cap. And just go back in history. In December 2021, mid cap was 61%. But go back in 2018, December 2018, a lot of people will remember 2018 as a time when mid caps were not doing well. It was a very concentrated top 10, top 15 Nifty stocks which are doing well. And look at the allocation. Large cap has allocation was 73%. And mid cap was only 26%. In 19, mid cap was just 21%. Just look how purely it changes the allocation between large cap and mid cap segments based on the market trends. Whereas something like momentum, which is biased towards large cap companies, आप देख सकते हैं that it was biased towards large cap companies in 18, rightly so, but it remained biased. It remained biased in December 2020 also. It remained biased in 2022 also, जहाँ पे 73% allocation था large cap पे, जबकि mid cap was doing well. So that is why we are saying that Alpha 30 is a superior product. And this is the current portfolio. And as you can see, you have smaller large cap companies and mid cap companies getting higher weightages in the portfolio, which is what I was talking about. जो भी स्टॉक अच्छा करेंगे वो स्टॉक इस पोर्टफोलियो का हिस्सा बनेंगे. फॉर एग्जांपल, Mahindra and Mahindra may, let's say, if it comes in next rebalancing, and let's say Power Finance starts doing poorly, Power Finance will be removed from the portfolio and Mahindra can come in. It's as significant as that. A top holding can be removed in one instance and replaced by something else, and that is what makes this portfolio one of the best options to target alpha or momentum investing. Now this is here I'll stop. I'll take a pause and try to explain this slide in a better manner. Look at this calendar year. See, alpha investing is a high risk, high reward strategy. It can have higher drawdowns, right? There's no doubt about it. You are trying to invest in a portfolio which targets stocks which are doing well, and which is why you see in 2023 it has given 57% return compared to just 24% of Nifty 200. It underperformed in 2022, mind you. Very interesting data. But in 21, look at the performance. 2020, look at the performance, outperformed. Just look, almost 30% outperformance in 2017, in almost 20% outperformance in 2015, etc. So in almost all the bull runs, you'll see Alpha 30 doing very well against the benchmark. But what happens जब market correct होते हैं? क्या हमेशा ड्रॉडाउन ज्यादा मिलेगा? आंसर इज नो. इनफैक्ट आंसर इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. पिछले 16 सालों में, since 2006, Nifty 50 has given negative return 3 times. 2015 में, in 2015, in 2011, and in 2008, 3 times. Out of these 3 times when it gave negative return, Alpha 30 actually outperformed it in 2 calendar years, right? In 2015 and 2011. Similarly, midcap has given negative returns in 4 calendar years since 2006. Alpha 30 outperformed it in those 3 years. In 3 out of 4 negative years, it outperformed. So ऐसा नहीं है कि it will always happen that if markets are correcting, momentum strategy and alpha strategy will stop working. The fact is that if a portfolio is able to reshuffle quickly and adjust to, let's say, a more quality stocks, or stocks which are, let's say, more sturdy, it is expected to fall less, जो कि अल्फा दिखा रहा है. जैसे मैं 2018 का दिखाया, it had higher allocation towards FMCG, it had higher allocation towards IT, which are typically, FMCG is more sturdy in nature, and which is why आप देख रहे हैं कि negative years में भी अल्फा ने कई बार outperform किया हुआ है. पिछले 2006 से it has 4 negative years, which is equivalent to mid cap having 4 negative years, and just one more than Nifty 50, which has 3 negative years. Now, from a rolling return point of view also, if you look, अगर मैं सिर्फ 1 साल का ही रोलिंग रिटर्न देखूं, तो यहाँ पे 26% रिटर्न दिए हैं निफ्टी 200 अल्फा 30 ने, and it has outperformed the other index pretty consistently on a rolling return basis also. Also, one very interesting thing, right? People talk about that funds do not work, passive funds do not work on the passive side, but just look at this performance in last 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 7 year, 10-year horizon. Alpha 30 has outperformed all large and mid cap fund, all of them. In last 1 year, it has outperformed by an average of 37.5% if I'm talking about direct growth. In last 5 years, it has outperformed them by an average of 8.4% on a CAGR basis. And these are serious numbers, and these are very stark numbers. And if you look at a 10-year period, you'll see that almost by an average of 7.6% is outperforming all large and mid cap numbers. Even if you compare it with pure mid cap numbers, you will see similar sort of outperformance and domination by Alpha 30 over the mid cap funds also. Now, we have talked about outperformance, rolling return, calendar year, as on date, etc. If we look at the drawdowns, there's no doubt that Nifty 200 Alpha 30 will have a higher volatility than a normal market cap based index. Now, one thing which I like to point out is this particular slide, which I'm saying that people typically ask me that what is the ideal horizon for Alpha 30 right now. So I'll I'll what I'll answer is that, see, when we launched in October, right? From that point of view, in very quick time, it has given 67% return, right? Uh, Alpha fund works in that manner. It In a bull market, it can capture the upside very quickly. Now, this upside can happen now also, right? In next 6 months, 1 year, this market can continue in momentum, or market can take a breather. Nobody knows when. But one thing we can be sure of, as I was mentioning earlier, that India economy market looks very robust. In next 3 years, 5 years, we'll see multiple instances of market doing well, multiple years of market doing well. And if you stay invested to see one or two good runs of the market, good calendar years, good periods, good bull markets, your alpha strategy typically tends to perform well and outperform the market significantly in those phases. And that is when you will see these products giving or creating good wealth. This can be front loaded, right? It can happen soon, or it can happen in periods within next 5 year, right? Because we believe that from a next 5 year, 7 year point of view, even these valuations are looking okayish, right? There are some pockets which are expensive, but फ्रंट लोड हो सकता है, बट और मार्केट में आपके 2-3 अच्छे फेजेस आ सकते हैं नेक्स्ट 3 साल में, 5 साल में. दैट इज वेयर यू शुड stay invested in an alpha strategy to capture that entire run. And with that, probably I'll close this presentation. And this is a very interesting, as I mentioned, it is a true to the label offering which captures alpha and momentum investing. यहाँ पे stocks का selection बहुत ही unbiased manner में large and mid cap segment से होता है. Stocks are not only selected but allocation भी outperformance के basis पे होता है. And we have seen that how quickly the fund shifts between sectors, shifts between segments, and that is why it has outperformed benchmark significantly. It has outperformed momentum 30 significantly. Yes, it can have drawdowns, but हमने देखा है पिछले कई सालों में जब निफ्टी एंड मिड कैप ने नेगेटिव रिटर्न दिया है. देयर आर इंस्टेंसेस आल्सो जब उन्होंने नेगेटिव रिटर्न दिया है, इसने पॉजिटिव रिटर्न दिया है. सो इफ यू हैव अ रीजनेबल रिस्क एपेटाइट, इफ यू कैन handle volatility, and if you can stay invested from a 4 year, 5 year point of view, yes, returns can be front loaded, but इनिशियल इंटेंट आपका 4-5 साल का इन्वेस्टमेंट होना चाहिए. अगर आप उस इंटेंशन से आ रहे हैं, दिस इज वन ऑफ द बेटर स्ट्रेटजीज फॉर यू, स्ट्रेटजीज विच आर वर्किंग वेरी वेल इन इंडिया, एंड आई फील दैट इन कमिंग टाइम्स ऑल्सो इट विल कंटिन्यू टू वर्क. So that's it from me. I'll pause here and I'll take some of the questions. And if you have any questions, please put it out on the chat box, and I'll be taking it one by one. So I'll go one by one. There's one question: what is FOF? So FOF का full form is Fund of Fund, Mr. Chandra. Rather than investing in stocks directly, it invests in an existing scheme. So for example, this fund of fund will invest in our Mirae asset, Nifty200 Alpha 30 ETF. So कई लोगों के पास they don't have demat account, and or they don't like buying and selling ETFs on exchange. For them, this is a normal mutual fund route, जहाँ से आप SIPs, STPs, जैसे आप म्यूचुअल फंड खरीदते बेचते हैं, वैसे आप ये फंड ऑफ फंड खरीद बेच सकते हैं. So I've already explained smart beta, so I won't go into that. Yeah, so I think one very good question which is coming from A single is, how is the construction of this index different from Alpha 30 except the number of stocks? It's a very good question. See, Alpha 30 is created from top 300 stocks, right? And Nifty 200 सिर्फ 200 स्टॉक्स को कैप्चर करता है, बट उससे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट क्या है कि अगर आप देखेंगे अल्फा 50 इंडेक्स में कई सारे इलिक्विड स्टॉक्स आ जाते हैं, सो इसीलिए उसका पोर्टफोलियो रेप्लिकेशन इजी है, बिकॉज बिकॉज वहां पे एक अल्फा स्ट्रेटजी को कैप्चर करने के लिए अंडरलाइंग पोर्टफोलियो लिक्विड होना इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज यू हैव टू चेंज द पोर्टफोलियो, बाय एंड सेल स्टॉक्स very frequently, and if your underlying portfolio is not liquid, so आपका इंडेक्स अच्छा रिटर्न दे सकता है बट आपका फंड will perform poorly, and that is what we have seen in some of the cases. It is difficult to replicate alpha 50 index, whereas this index alpha 30 टॉप 100 लार्ज एंड मिड कैप में ही है, साथ ही साथ उन्हीं स्टॉक्स में इन्वेस्ट करता है जिनमें एफएनओ एग्जिस्ट करता है, सो देयर इज नो इशू ऑफ circuit, and that is why since the launch you can see that we have been able to replicate the alpha 30 index beautifully, whereas a lot of people have struggled to replicate an alpha 50 or a mid cap momentum 50 index also, because liquidity is a challenge there, and index replication is a challenge. So again, one question is what you can obviously view this presentation. It is uploaded on our website. The rebalancing frequency is quarterly. That was a question from Mayur. Virendra is asking what is the PE of this index or ETF. See, Virendra, I won't answer that because see, PE is immaterial for this particular product, because इस वाले प्रोडक्ट में the changes are so frequent and stark, जो कि मैंने एक स्लाइड में दिखाए थे, and I'll go back to that slide because it just highlights the characteristic of this fund. Right now, capital goods is 19.3% and financial services is 17.7%, right? Capital goods higher PE पे चल रहे हैं, but look at healthcare. Healthcare was 3.1%. In fact, 2023 के मिड में healthcare was 0, and suddenly healthcare has become 14.2%, right? If let's say tomorrow FMCG starts doing well, it will again have a higher representation of FMCG. So the PE of this PE base of this index keeps on changing very frequently, because alpha strategy and momentum strategy is not like typical market cap based investment strategy जहाँ पे एक PE चल रहा है and then you are able to gauge whether it is overvalued or undervalued. यहाँ पे entire set of stocks, sectors, market cap segments, all of them are getting changed. So आज का PE is not comparable to 2 साल पुराना PE, because अगर आप जैसे सेक्टर लोकेशन में देख सकते हैं 2 साल पहले ये फंड कहीं और ही इन्वेस्टेड था and आज कहीं और ही इन्वेस्टेड है. There's one more question from Vrinder Sharma. What is the average holding period for any stock in this portfolio of this index? That's a very good question. What we have seen in history, ये 30 stock portfolio है. On an average, every quarter, 8 stocks are removed and new 8 stocks are brought in. 7 to 8 stocks are removed and 7 to 8 stocks are brought in on an average. So over a period of, let's say, 1 year, typically अगर मैं ऐसे देखूं तो 90% के आसपास का पोर्टफोलियो चर्न हम लोग देख लेते हैं. सो द होल्डिंग पीरियड is pretty small, and that is how it should be for alpha investing. Now Amit Naik is asking whether it's a good idea to invest in direct ETF fund rather than FOF. So Amit, if you're comfortable buying and selling ETF on exchange, you can go ahead and invest in an ETF. Look at INAV, use the limit order, buy and sell ETF. If you want to do SIP, STPs, if you don't want to, let's say, go on broking account and buy and sell ETF, then fund of fund is the route for you. In our case, हम लोगों ने pricing we have made pretty attractive. Direct plan and both regular plan is pretty much comparable to how index funds are. आशीष लखमानी का क्वेश्चन है मोमेंटम 30 वर्सेस अल्फा 30. सी आशीष, वी हैव ऑलरेडी एड्रेस्ड दैट वी फील दैट दिस इज सुपीरियर अप्रोच देन मोमेंटम, बिकॉज सिलेक्शन आउट परफॉर्मेंस पे हो रहा है जो कि मोमेंटम में भी होता है, बट यहाँ पे जो एलोकेशन होता है, वेट का एलोकेशन, वो आउट परफॉर्मेंस के बेसिस पे ही होता है. मार्केट कैप का इसमें कोई कंसिडरेशन नहीं होता है. So that is one. Second is that this portfolio gets reviewed and rebalanced quarterly, whereas momentum happens on a semi-annual basis. So uh, selection is outperformance, weighing is outperformance, and review is quarterly, which I feel makes it superior to Momentum 30 product. Now, someone is asking whether I would suggest SIP for funds. See, for child education, this is Virinder, again, high risk, high reward strategy. It is a bit more volatile. I don't know the investors' overall allocation. So, अगर किसी को risk averse strategy करनी है, तो alpha is not a product for him. But if he's okay with volatility, then I think he can go for a 5-year SIP. And taxation will be, as of now, 15% flat, irrespective of the holding horizon. Then there are several questions on churn, which I've explained, fund of fund. See, there is one question which is repeatedly coming, so it's a bit out of context, but I'll still answer. The question is that Mirae Asset Global Electric and Autonomous Vehicle Fund is not performing since inception. Should we switch to Alpha 30? See, that fund is not performing well because of troubles in Chinese economy, consumption which has sorts of taken a hit in Chinese economy, plus also inflation, because of inflation, etc. EV market not doing so well in US right now. I feel, and again, one question is that lithium as a segment not doing well right now. I feel that global EV fund will probably take an year to recover, to start showing healthy signs, because that is when we expect China and lithium market to probably show some better recovery indicators. So if you can wait for a 1 year, then probably wait it out and then see how that fund is performing. But I don't expect a very quick recovery in the global EV fund because of the economy in China obviously lagging and not recovering as quickly as we expected. I think I've covered a lot of questions on rebalance. I wanted on taxation. Obviously, you can buy ETF using Zerodha app. There's one question: does it invest in large cap, mid cap, and small cap, or only in large cap and mid cap? So, sir, this invest in Mirae Asset Nifty 200 Alpha 30 ETF, and that only invest in top 200 stocks, which consist of 100 large cap and 100 mid cap stocks. Now, how to invest in this NFO? You can go to a third party platform. You can obviously apply to us directly via distributor. So typically, how you typically invest in an NFO is how you can invest in this particular fund offering. That was the question by Durga Prasad. For any technical question regarding operational issues, which I'm seeing some of them, how to open the account, etc., you can please contact us on our social media platform or call us at our call center, and obviously your queries will be answered there. Hmm. So, Atul, there's one question by Atul which I'll just clarify. He's asking that ETF unit cost 28 rupees right now, and NFO will be at rupees 10. So what is economical? So Atul, दोनों का कोई कोरिलेशन नहीं है. अल्फा ETF यूनिट 28 रुपए पे चल रही है, एंड जो ये एनएफओ का अलॉटमेंट होगा, ये फंड ऑफ फंड है, वो ETF यूनिट है, ये फंड ऑफ फंड है, एंड फंड ऑफ फंड 10 रुपए की नाव पे एलोकेट होगा. अगर अंडरलाइंग पोर्टफोलियो लेट्स से गिव्स यू 10% return, the ETF unit cost will in price will increase from 28 to 28 plus 2.8 rupees, which is 10% return. And यहाँ पे जो 10 रुपए की NAV है वो 11 रुपए की हो जाएगी. You cannot buy or sell ETF units and यहाँ पे आप उसको arbitrage नहीं कर सकते. These are two different funds, two different NAVs. And both will move from a percentage point of view in a similar related manner. Shyam Sundar is asking comparison between momentum and alpha. Please visit our website. We have presentation as well as momentum versus alpha note uploaded, and you can see that. No, so one more question is by Chandra Shekhar. So this FOF is not taxed as debt. As of now, the taxation is 15% flat, irrespective of the your investment horizon. So if you invested for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, it's 15% flat. What is the expense ratio of ETF and fund of fund? ETF is somewhere around 35 basis point. Fund of fund will be somewhere around. So again, please visit our website. I'm just giving you broad numbers. Fund of ETF is around 35 basis point. Fund of fund, including the underlying, which is these 35 basis point. Direct plan will be around 45 basis point, and your regular plan will be around 105 basis point. 35 ETF roughly, 45 fund of fund including the underlying ETF को मिला करके, and then 105 is your regular, which again is including the underlying. अगर मैं underlying हटा दूँ तो that is direct is 10 basis point, and 65 70 is your regular plan expense ratio. So Durga Prasad asking, do you have any similar products on small cap as well? Yes, we have a two-factor strategy on the small cap side. It's a very interesting product. We launched it recently, doing really well. It's called Mirae Asset Nifty200 Momentum Quality 100 ETF. It has fund of fund also on it. So if you're looking for a small cap investment only, you can explore that particular offering. Yeah, so Virender, I think last question is how much tracking error is expected. So I think, tracking error is more of a theoretical parameters people look at. We are not expecting much tracking error in this. It will be higher than Nifty 50, obviously, but somewhere in the range of, let's say, less than 50 basis point, hopefully around 30 basis point. Right now, if I'm not wrong, our current ETF is around 20 basis point. So hopefully the alpha 30 will be around 50, below 50 basis point is the tracking error which we expect from an alpha 30 with, or which is an alpha strategy where high churn take place. So I think we are pretty comfortable on the tracking error part, because as I mentioned, this portfolio is pretty replicable because it invests in large and mid cap stocks in top 200 space which have FNO on it. So I think I have answered almost all the unique questions which were there. Yeah, great. So thank you for attending this webinar. If you have any more questions, please contact us through our social media channels. Visit our website. You can see more product documents on the website. And if you need further clarification, as I mentioned, please contact us through social media channel or through our website and your relationship manager. So thank you for attending this webinar. I hope you like this product which we are coming out with, and we hope for your participation in this NFO. Thank you. Please take care and stay safe.